Good morning, everybody. It's me, U.S. President Benjamin Harrison here. Welcome back to Snapshot Day, my dudes. Well, what do we have here but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strange, weird, mysterious new blocks? The second snapshot of the year. In honor of it, tap that like button and let's dive in. Whoa, mommy. Okay, so this snapshot is one of the most technical snapshots that I have seen in a hot minute. And if you followed the snapshot videos last year, then you would remember that it was like Tech Squad, Geek Squad Central in many of the snapshots. Like, stuff was crazy. Upon the location in which I would like to kick off today's snapshot is the menu. Still, no brand new experiments, but we've got a minecart change. Hey, but keep that in mind, because first off, a world generation. Loading up a brand new world inside of the snapshot, world generation has changed. First things first, inside of the forest biome, I don't know why, but there are no leaves. Now, look, maybe this is an undocumented change. Maybe this is some sort of gigantic, massive bug, but walking around inside of the beautiful forest, they removed all of the leaf litter. Look, that's not what I meant in this video when I said make the leaves be able to be placed on a sidewalk. Like, no, dear Bonzo, I don't know how they misinterpreted that. So I guess I'm gonna take this one as my fault. I'd like to apologize to each and every one of you watching the video because world generation has been completely redone. There are no more leaves. Now, another location in which we would be able to find leaf litter on the ground previously would be the wooded Badlands biome. They've done it. They've even removed the wood from the Badlands. That's crazy. Okay, yeah, no, but actually, the leaf generation inside of this snapshot is just bugged. It's removed everywhere. I hope this isn't the case. I don't think it is. Final place that we could go ahead and test this one out is the dark forest biome. And hey, wait, hold on a minute. Well, I did not expect this to happen. The dark forest biome definitely has leaves still, but nowhere near as many leaves as before. I mean, I don't know. I know some people said they were a bit cluttered previously, but I kind of liked it. Now, creeping ever so slightly over into the birch forest biome, the flower generation, the beautiful stuff, oh, it remains still here. It's so nice looking. But yes, in the last snapshot, I was made but a fool by none other than myself. I placed the petal down, I bone mealed it, and petals popped out. No. In my memory, it was correct. It did work in a spiral motion, and in a spiral motion, well, that's exactly how these flowers will now be bone mealed. You bone meal a single yellow wildflower on the ground, and more will fill up inside of the block until there are 4. After that, if you bone meal it, one just like pops up into the sky and, you know, throws on the ground like a little bit of litter, garbage, pollution, I don't know. Yeah. Ooh, now you tell me, looking around at the birch forest biome, I don't think it's any different, but at the same time, I can't really tell. Is it perhaps just the hill here, or are the flowers a little bit more sparsely populated in the snapshot? Technical schmechnical. Remember, the leaves, we'll come back to them in a second. Brand new command inside of this snapshot /test. When you type /test, you have a whole ton of different queries that one could query or perhaps enter into this command. For example, let's go ahead and run create. That's where, of course, everything begins. We run that command and bam, a small error. But with a little bit more knowledge, we can go ahead and maybe name that test and do create and bam, just like that. One of the many new blocks that we'll check out in today's video, but then a little bit of bedrock in a strange structure framework situation going on. Interacting with said brand new block and you get, wait, oh, what the heck? Why'd the editor blur the entire screen? Is that a spoiler? No, we'll check it out later. So this new test command is a very, very technical command. Like, in fact, such a technical command that apparently it's making me stumble over all my words. But from looking at all of this stuff right here, we have tons of different things. Verify. We'll go ahead and verify that test and you got another error. But look, it's not that they implemented a completely busted and broken command, and it's definitely not that I haven't taken the time to actually properly learn all of the technical information that is tucked inside of this command. No. But a little bit more information on this test command. Ah, yes, the test command is a new command used to create and run tests. Then we've got all of the different syntaxes that we could go ahead and run with this command. After that, on the changelog, we have a little bit of parameters that will go ahead and explain all of this stuff even more. So for example, we could go ahead and say test run, and then after that, if I put nothing, it will run the test 1 time. If I go ahead and put like a number, maybe 6, then theoretically my test would be ran 6 times. By the way, for this example, the test that I'm talking about is right here. From inside of this block 5 right here, I can go ahead and zoom that out 50, and then my test size is going to be 50 blocks long, 5 blocks wide, and 5 blocks tall. Let's say I was running a test. Well, if I was, whatever would be going on inside of this test in this area right here, well, that would be tested. The test command is also a little bit rude if I am interpreting this correctly. Test, what? Excuse me? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. So over here, back on the changelog today, test clear. This is a way to reset your test. Test create, the first command that I ran and the command that worked, is a way to set up a quick test area for your test. Test locate will help you find your test. Test reset is a way to reset your test. Test POS, look, I don't even want to go there. Test run. So this is an interesting one. Runs one or more tests. If multiple tests are run at once, they are placed on a grid and ran in parallel. And then with our tests here, we have a little bit of color coding that will happen using beacon beams. For example, gray beam means a test is in progress. Red means it failed. Orange meant it kind of failed, and then green, it passed. And this is all super advanced up because let's say I was running a test and it failed, well then a lectern would pop up inside of my world with an overlay. A little bit more context on tests as well. They are designed to be ran inside of a super flat world. So that doesn't mean that say tests will only work in super flats. It's just to say it might be better to run your tests in something of a blank canvas world. One specific use for this new test mechanic is, say, maybe testing functions that, say, your mod or data pack adds into the game. Now, this test stuff, it's obviously going to be done a little bit differently on Bedrock Edition, but I think this is kind of similar to the whole test API stuff that Bedrock Edition has for mod and add-on creators over there. Now, techie stuff, you keep it in mind. We'll come back to it a little bit later. Pigs, saddles, interesting. Strider, saddle, interesting. Inside of this snapshot, we have a brand new equipment slot for both the pig, all of the new variants included, and the strider. Correction, slot, meet asset. Added new equipment asset layer for pigs and striders and moved the saddle texture. Alright, so this one is relating to something that looks like this, but not to quite exactly this one. This is a horse instead. Instead, imagine this is a pig, then we have a slot inside of the texture for the saddle. And the same stuff here is going to go for the strider as well. Inside of our files, let's say I was maybe making a resource pack or something like that. Well, inside of our files, the sizing of the saddle texture has now been changed. It's all a bit technical, really, but we basically have this new system called equipment assets, wherein essentially, I believe we're going to have a little bit more space for different equipment assets for the different mobs. This is great if you're making a resource pack and you say want to be able to like customize the saddle, the aesthetic of it a little bit more. We also have an interesting, strange little adjustment to the horse as well. So, you know how it goes. With a horse, if I jump on the horse and tame the horse, eventually the horse, well, it's my friend. A little bit of painful taming later, and voila, I've got a horse, and I look at the inventory, I can put armor on the horse, and I can put a saddle on the horse. Other than that, if I jump on the horse and, like, say, want to equip a chest on it, well, no, it doesn't work like that. You see, instead, if I wanted to put a chest on a mob, then I would instead need to find a donkey. Slightly more painful mob taming later, and I've done it. The donkey. I have, again, a saddle slot and an armor slot. However, instead, if I go ahead and interact with a donkey with a chest, I can actually put a chest on the donkey, and just like that, if I'm on top of the donkey, be able to access this inventory and store a little bit of stuff inside of it. It's super cool. Well, actually, for the longest time, the horse has had a secret chest texture as well, which is weird and definitely misleading. That's where, interestingly, this little bug has been fixed and smoothed over inside of this snapshot. The horse, the chest texture inside of the files, it's gone. All of this kind of relates to the changes that were made with the resource pack and the equipment asset stuff and all of that information. Hey, as a side note, I'm sorry I'm just showing the changelog so much today. It's really just a very technical snapshot. Here's to hopes that next week's snapshot might be a little bit more spicy, and I have reason to believe that it might. I guess we'll find out later today, but it seems like the Bedrock preview cycle for the current update is wrapping up, so the preview might be a little bit more technical, but meanwhile next week, the start of a new cycle, well, hopefully we'll be back to free range for brand new features for this next update. Ah, yes, our 5 brand new blocks inside of this snapshot. They're all so mysterious and kind of crazy looking too. Like, these textures are textures that I would have never thought that I would see actually in the vanilla game. Now, all of these 5 new blocks all kind of relate to each other and actually, technically speaking, have a very, very similar name. In fact, almost identical every time. In the game here, if you're into these brand new mysterious technical blocks, well, open up your inventory, and if you have the operator utilities tab enabled, we'll slide over to it and you'll be able to find them all inside of it. We have test instance and then test block for all of the others. So our journey here, it kind of begins with a test instance. This is basically like the original version of the test block, if you will. Sliding into it, the UI, it's now all been revealed. Up top, we have test instance ID. So if I had, say, a function, I could go ahead and put that in here. But right now, off the top of my head, I don't know if I have any functions that I really want to test. So we'll just go ahead and go with that function. Let's waddle into 2025. I like the sounds of it. Over here, I have test structure size. If I go ahead and say, maybe start adjusting this this stuff, maybe scale it up to 5 and then tap done. Well, just like that, we get a little bounding box inside of our world with the defined parameters. Back inside of this thing, we can go ahead and adjust the rotation as well. This is almost just like a structure block. Go ahead and rotate it a little bit, and from the outside, it doesn't look like anything is changing, but if I had stuff on the inside to actually test, it would rotate. Then we have entities. We can go ahead and toggle those on and off, reset and load, save structure, or run test. So now let's go ahead and just tap run test. When I tap that, unfortunately, nothing happens. But if something did happen, this is where the whole beacon spawned in thing would come into play. This image right here, I don't have a test to run. Hopefully, maybe I can come back at you soon with even more tests to run. But right here, a beacon beam would emit from that block. And if the test passed, well, it would turn green. While it's in progress, gray. If it failed, red or orange. I really wish the devs in the changelog would have put like a simple test for us to be able to jump into the snapshot and just like, you know, mess around with initially and test it out. But anyways, this block will actually be able to change based on what's going on with the test. So next up, we've got this block right here. It's called test block. I can go ahead and tap start to begin a test, and then I get log. When I change it to log and I back out, the block is now magically changed to this I for information. Now the log right here, I can go ahead and input stuff into the log, tap done, and well, again, I don't have a test, so yeah. But next up, we'll go ahead and tap log right there, and then we have fail. If I back out predictably, boom, it's a red X now. This would happen if my test were to have failed inside of my world. If I tap fail one more time, I get accept mode, accept success for part of a test. Done, and wow, the green, the beautiful check mark. So all of this test stuff on the surface, if you're not much of a technical player, this might not seem like very much of a big deal, but oh boy, technical players, mod makers, data pack creators, and just testers in general, this stuff is huge. I always wonder, and I think back to that Minecraft Live 2023 when they were talking about like implementing more stuff to make updates faster and smoother and whatever. I almost wonder if this is the culmination of all of that work that has been going on. Like all of the function and block tag stuff, it's great. And it seems that they can add block tags a whole lot easier now. They did that in the last snapshot. Now we have this gigantic whole testing thing. And I mean, it's insane. Leaves. I told you we'd come back to them. This small little setup from this video right here. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out next. Oh, it's so tragic. Leaves, they still can't be placed on other blocks. I'm not sure what the devs are cooking with this one. Apparently not much here because, oh, wow. It makes no sense. Like, think about it. When you rake your lawn, in the house that I used to grow up in, we would rake our lawn and then pile the leaves in the road, therefore on the cement. Then the leaf sucker up truck thing would come by and pick the leaves up off of the cement. Please, developers, what are we doing here? Let the leaves go on the cement? Come on. I don't know if they saw my video or what though, but they did make an interesting change where leaves are now compostable, so I guess that's a thing, but what is it all worth if we can not even put it on the other blocks? As for any of the other fire leaf changes from that video, unfortunately, none of those changes were made either. I am really hoping that they're not done cooking with leaves because I think they need a little bit more adjustment. Like, seriously, more in this video right here. Check it next. Ooh-wee, mob variants. They were all the rage in the last snapshot. Well, in this snapshot, unfortunately, no new or like more mob variants. Hopefully, that'll end up coming soon. But in this snapshot, something interesting with the variants across all of the world. And I'm so sorry, this is about where we're going to wrap today's video up, but entity variant components. Entities now have a set of components for configuring variants and other aspects of appearance. If those components are present upon spawning, like spawn eggs, mob buckets, paintings, whatever, they will be applied to a new entity. Components are currently not restored when spawn egg is picked up from existing entity. And then wham, bang, the tons of new components for villagers, wolves, the collars, foxes, salmon, parrot, and I mean, you go through this whole list right here, but tons and tons of different entity component variants. I really feel like if we're setting up for more mob variants across the world, this is kind of it. Like, even down to things like mushrooms having different variants for red and brown, and the pig variants, of course, and just all of it. Some of the most fascinating ones to me, a shulker color, one of 16 dye colors, huh? Painting variants, that's intriguing. And then in the context of the Lego stuff, a parrot variants as well, huh? Mob buckets and paintings available in the creative menu will now use variants instead of entity data components. And then custom tooltips for tropical fish and painting are now based on components as well. Now, I would like to wrap today's video up with this weird thing, waving a bow. This was a teaser put in the official Minecraft WhatsApp server yesterday, like hours before Snapshot Day. I mean, look, maybe by the time the preview drops, this makes a little bit more sense, but why the Minecraft team would think it's a great idea to tease a wave and a bow right before a snapshot and say nothing else, it beats me. It seems a little cruel. Whatever this teaser actually means, it seems that today nothing has come to fruition. Is it a future teaser? Is it just a teaser for a Hello Kitty DLC? Oh, gosh, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Thank you for watching today's snapshot to video. Tap like, subscribe for more. I'm not sure if I'll be live today, still deciding, so I guess we'll see. But no matter what, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Goodbye.